Have you ever wanted to change careers but didn't quite know how to go about doing it? One person who has successfully reinvented herself several times over the years is Vanessa Sandes. Vanessa has had a career as an actress starring in big movies like District 9, a model, an MC, an expert in the fitness industry, and more recently started her own digital marketing agency. I sat down with Vanessa earlier this week and asked her to share some of her secrets. Vanessa, you have had an amazing variety of a career so far. Give me the highlights of your career.
Certainly the first very memorable thing that I guess shaped me and sort of was the road to a lot of things in my life was becoming a Miss South Africa finalist. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I was a finalist the year J.N. Strauss won. Feels like 150 years ago. But that was definitely sort of the start to many, many things. I really do think that was where it all began. And from there, many more exciting highlights and, studying and getting my degree and moving on to study acting and film and doing all of that. That was pretty awesome. And then obviously my role in District 9 was epic and changed my whole life again. And then other very different things like completing 2 Absa Cape epics. Wow. So going to the cycling, so I've done so many crazy things in my life. And then a more recent wonderful highlight obviously is the birth of my son that also changed my life completely. And it's wonderful how you go through all these just all these wonderful experiences in your life.
You and I grew up together. We've known each other for a long time. We grew up in a small town, unassuming place, nothing to suggest that you would go on to do all the wonderful things that you have. What do you think it was about your childhood that enabled you that positioned you to be so successful in life?
I think being sheltered from the big ugly world is sometimes not such a bad thing, and I think many successful and wonderful people have come from small towns and farming communities and that kind of thing. That's not taking away from those that are successful that grew up in big cities. It's just I think almost my naivety counted for me and not against me in some ways.
So we mentioned all these different iterations of your career, which is really incredible and varied. How have you coped sort of transitioning from one successful career to another?
It's so interesting. Nobody's ever asked me that before, and it's not really ever been like a conscious. I mean, obviously you do some planning and you move into like a next phase of your life, and people have said, "Oh, you've reinvented yourself so well, a few times over, and how do you do it?" And I think in many respects, it's often happened almost by accident. And it's just that's what's so wonderful about life. It's actually quite unpredictable in many ways. You can do some planning, but like my mom always says to me, life is what happens when you're planning other things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And life doesn't always go according to plan. The one thing that really was a very crazy time in my life was when I was cycling almost professionally. I mean, I wasn't cycling at a top level, if you know what I mean. Cycling was my daily life, and I was earning an income through it, through doing tours and that kind of thing. And what had happened was that not long after I met Ryan, he had said to me, "You should do the Absa Cape epic." And my exact response to him was, "You're absolutely insane, I'll die." And I think having his influence in my life and seeing him do sport every day, and meeting people through him and in the sporting industry then also led me to that next phase in my life.
I know that you are super supportive of your husband, Ryan Sandes, and his ultra running career. How important do you think it is for spouses to be supportive of each other's careers?
Oh, hugely. It's really the glue that keeps our family together. It's not always easy because I'm not a full-on professional athlete and never have been in that position. So sometimes, as much as I try and understand how exhausted or sore or tired Ryan is, I'll never quite understand it. I can just be sympathetic and give him a back rub, which is most nights, to relieve some muscular pain. And he's also very supportive of my career, whether I'm filming a TV commercial or putting my head down and working on some new business development, helping some clients out, whatever it may be.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some more esoteric questions now. Okay, so what does happiness mean for you?
Happiness for me is a sense of just being absolutely content and just being at peace with what you have, and even if it's nothing or not much, just being, just being at peace and happy with what you have, and not going out to seek things that aren't necessarily going to fulfill your life. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does, well, especially like coming from you. I mean, I know that, having been in that world and being a model, being an actress, starring in like, big films and that, I guess you've seen what it's like to be in a position where, you're famous, I guess. And does that, does that make you any happier then?
No, I was about to say, if anything, it was quite the opposite. I don't really recall ever having that time in my life bring me a great deal of happiness. With a certain amount of fame does come a certain amount of power, and not even that makes you happy. Certainly the one thing that really gives me a lot of happiness is my family, and I've always wanted to have my own little family, and I think it's because I grew up in such a normal, wonderful, loving, supportive home. I've got 2 sisters, my mum and dad are amazing. And for me, that's the ultimate. That's happiness, and I have that now.
What are some of the principles that you live your life by?
Something I do remind myself about all the time is that everybody is equal. I think there's so many people on this earth that see themselves as superior than others, and I cannot fathom it. I don't understand why. And massive racial divides and social divides and wealth, I don't like that about the world. I wish we could, unfortunately we can't, but I wish we could all be on a level playing field. And I think it's important to treat all those around you with dignity and respect. I know respect is certainly earned, but I think a little bit of friendliness and respect, especially in this country, can go a long way. There's a lot of angry people that live in this country, and I think if we just smiled and greeted each other all like equal human beings, we'd get a lot further. Yeah.
Vanessa, thank you so much. It was so much fun actually being able to sit here and have a chat with you.
It's so lovely to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you again, and thanks for doing this in your beautiful home.
Thanks for coming, and you're one of our first guests.
Oh, I know. Thank you. All right.
Thanks so much.